It's 12 o'clock.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. Peace is a path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this afternoon, Frisia Commissioner assures of free, fair local government elections. Police explains takeover of Frisia office. PDP says President Tinubu's Independence Day speech insensitive. Port Harcourt refinery misses 7th production rollout deadline. On the foreign scene, Israel says Iran to pay for missile attack. I'm Ifechukwumoyene with the news. Now, the Commissioner for Public Affairs and Civic Education, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC, Tamunotoye Prof. Tolbins, has assured residents that Saturday's local government elections will be free and fair. Mr. Prophet Tolbins was responding to concerns raised by residents regarding the fairness of elections. Speaking on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire, he reiterated the Commission's commitment to ensuring a credible election process.
But I want to assure everybody that this 6th Commission is committed, irrevocably committed to conducting the freest and the most fairest election in the local government polls. That is that. RISEC knows that security will be provided for personnel, material, and everything come that 5th of October 2024. Very, very committed to making sure that we deliver on this election.
Mr. Prophet Tolbins also revealed that there will be no electronic transmission of results.
Concerning announcement of results, it's already enshrined in the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission Law 2018 number 2 of 2018. That results will be announced centrally at the State Secretariat. No electronic transmission of results, yes.
In the meantime, some residents of Port Harcourt have been speaking on whether they would be participating in the elections. Some of them who spoke to our correspondent said they will not participate due to security concerns. Others said they will take part.
I have to take, I'm not ready to vote for anybody, but this country is easy because I'm not voting for anybody. Even I'm in my voters card now, but I cannot vote for anybody.
I will vote. I have voters card.
No, I don't just have a reason, but I don't think if I can participate. I said it's for my own safety. I don't want any harm, so I'd rather stay at home instead of participating. Because the last one, governorship election, when I participated, my unit where we voted, so we had a little. It was good, but I don't think if I can participate on this particular one.
Well, we all know River State now, the violence and everything, so I'd rather be in my house that day and get some rest.
Yes, I'll be voting. I have a polling unit and I have a voter's card. And my polling unit is at Roma Log. That's where I'm going to cast my vote on Saturday.
The River State Police Command has explained why it deployed officers to take over the Secretariat of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC. Police officers stormed the RISIEC Secretariat on Tuesday morning and took over the premises, sparking insinuations that the Secretariat has been sealed off following Monday's Abuja High Court ruling against the October 5th council election. Those opposed to the election were already rejoicing that the election will not be held following the police barricade. But spokesperson of the command, Grace Iringikoko, while reacting to publications by some online platforms that the premises was sealed by the police, said it was not true. She said the police officers seen at the RISIEC office were posted on the directive of the Commissioner of Police to protect the facility against any attack during the ongoing October 1st nationwide protests in Port Harcourt. SP Iringikoko also described as false the allegation peddled in some social media platforms that the police assaulted and beat up some fearless in October protesters in the state. Moving on, the PDP says the 64th Independence Day speech of President Bola Tinubu further confirmed the insensitivity of his administration towards the plight and demands of Nigerians. In a statement, PDP spokesman Debo Ologunwawa said the president's speech showed no hope in sight or proffer any solution to the many economic and security problems in the country. The opposition party said the presidential speech did not also review the policies of the government. In the same vein, some residents of Port Harcourt have expressed doubt about the promises made by President Bola Tinubu during his Independence Day broadcast. Recall that the president in his speech promised to create 1.5 million jobs, ensure the safety of workers, and empower tertiary students through loans, among others. However, Port Harcourt residents told our correspondent that the president should improve the economy by reducing fuel prices.
We cannot restore the price of petrol. I don't see how he's going to do all that he's saying. It is easier for him to restore the price of fuel than to do all those things he's saying.
The major thing is fuel and importation in Nigeria. Let him bring our comfort source back. Then another thing is importation, because to clear goods now is very hard and dollar rate is very high. So those are things that all masses is going to benefit on. Everything is worst. Even animal in the bush are witness our own hardship in Nigeria.
Now hearing the cry of the masses. Then you want to give students loan of how much, so that they will use the loan to go and buy high fuel. Bring the fuel price down. Do what will make the economy to be good, so that Nigeria will be enjoyable again. You want to employ people. Which factory you want to put them to work? You not build any facility, no factory. Where do you want to employ them?
Meanwhile, a former chairman of New Peng, Port Harcourt Zone, Godwin Eruba, has criticized the oil and gas sector's failure to reach its full potential over the last 64 years. Mr. Eruba, in an interview with correspondent Obioroware, attributed the failure to poor management and a lack of accountability regarding the actual quantity of crude oil produced. He says 64 years after independence, none of the nation's refineries are operational.
Government have decided that they will continue to import rather than exporting, rather than refining. It has not been helpful at all. The oil and gas sector have never realized its full potential. And it was for this reason that, in the wisdom of the decision makers, they decided to say, okay, let us copy what other nations are doing. But Nigeria, rather than making money from our crude sales, few people are being enriched because of the stealing of our crude oil. As far as I'm concerned as an individual, we have not done anything meaningful. The quantity of crude that we have discovered in Nigeria.
Mr. Eruba also expressed his disappointment that Nigeria remains the only nation that has consistently failed to meet its OPEC crude oil production quota since independence.
The system, okay, they said we have to rely on the income from the crude that is being exported for Nigeria to run her economy. And the crude, as we speak today, is less than 1,400 barrels per day. Meanwhile, OPEC quota that are given to us, we cannot meet up. At 1,900,000 barrels per day or thereabout. What we are doing now is about 1,400,000 or 1,380,000. We can't even meet the OPEC quota. And we are jumping up and down as an oil-producing nation. That is why we can't pay bill. That is why the government have borrowed themselves blind.
Still on this, the National Legal Advisor to the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, Henry Akine, assessed the country's governance over the past 64 years, stating that there is little to celebrate in terms of good governance.
Before independence, and then aspiring to be an independent state among the Committee of Nations in this country. I think we haven't really gone anywhere close to the aspirations and the expectations of our founding fathers, and then of where we expected Nigeria to be. 64 years after independence, I'm afraid I am not one of those that will say we have done well. We have done below average. We've really had failures in our leadership, we have had failures in our systems, failures in our institutions. We are more of downtime than anything to seriously celebrate.
Mr. Akine said, despite attaining 64 years of independence, Nigeria still heavily depends on foreign nations for almost everything.
The way we appear to be rather dependent on other nations instead of being an independent nation, comparing to how strong we were immediately after independence. Nigeria was a more prosperous, self-sustaining economy immediately after independence, and than we are at the moment. citizens felt freer in terms of access and protection of their rights than what we experience at the moment. So for me, it's more of a recommendation from failures and the inadequacies of our leadership, so that we need to improve in all of what we are doing.
Still to come, Port Harcourt Refinery misses 7th production rollout deadline. Stay with us.
In support.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The National Secretary of the Joy Youth Council Worldwide, Nangi Maboye Obu, has denied allegations by Jonathan Lopobiri that he has been suspended for allegedly instigating the crisis which led to the death of some persons during the IYC Eastern Zone election in Abuloma community last month. Speaking at a media briefing on the state of affairs of the council, Mr. Maboye Obu accused Jonathan Lopobiri of being sponsored to disrupt the IYC Eastern Zone election. He alleged that based on the action of Jonathan Lopobiri during the election, the council suspended him.
When the election was won and the winner was declared, and former President Jonathan Lopobiri was one who declared the winner and also swear the guy in. What happened? Jonathan was allowed to leave that place scot-free. Immediately, Jonathan drove off that venue. They locked the place and started shooting. The shooting became so intense. Our lives were endangered and we almost died. That happened. That was the issue. In less than 2-3 hours, Jonathan had made all his investigation. All he could do was to heap all of that blame that himself and his cousin, came to sponsor people for a Abuloma to kill people on the Secretary General. I've never been involved in any cult group.
Mr. Maboyobu also accused Mr. Jonathan Lopobiri of financial impropriety and undermining the council.
In terms of finances, Jonathan, because he's scared and he knows I will not be party to all his fraudulent activities, went behind and created an account and used someone else as signatory in lieu of the secretary. He will come meet agencies and people and parastatals and they will give money and he transfers the money back to his own personal account. He has been the sole person operating the Joint Council account. A lot of financial impropriety and misappropriation is attached to Jonathan Lopobiri. This is also one of the reasons why Jonathan Lopobiri wants our head on a platter.
He also said that he and other national executives of the IYC from the Eastern Zone are open for unbiased investigation into the crisis in the Buluma community, as they have nothing to hide and are not culpable. Our correspondent reports that Mr. Maboyobu affirmed the support of the IYC to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Now, the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors of Nigeria, Rivers State Branch, says its attention has been drawn to the circulation of fake survey plans in the public domain. The association, which is a subgroup of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, in a statement signed by its chairman, Andy Wikinane, Vice Chairman Abiola Mapaderum, Secretary James Ogalozo, and the Publicity Secretary Lawson Widum, said these fraudulent documents are being produced by individuals falsely claiming to be surveyors. The statement encouraged members of the public to check the originality and registration status of their landed property or surveyor plan by visiting its secretariat at number 3 Professor Tam David West Boulevard along Obirihuere Airport Road in Port Harcourt. The association also urged the public to report any suspicious survey plans to their office. They warned those involved in such fraudulent activities to stop immediately or face the full wrath of the law. Elsewhere, the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, NSEMA, says over 150 persons have been rescued alive so far following a boat mishap in Gabjibo community of Mokwa local government area of the state. The Director General of NSEMA, Abdullahi Babara, said the feat was achieved as a result of the prompt response from community volunteers. He said the cause of the mishap is yet to be determined, adding that it is intensifying search and rescue operations. 60 dead bodies have also been recovered. In business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has again failed to begin fuel production at the Port Harcourt refinery in Rivers State. This is despite the refinery failing to commence operations after about 6 postponements as of August. Recall that after the failure of the early August promise, the Chief Financial Officer of the NNPCL, Omar Ajia, said the Port Harcourt refinery will start operations in September. September ended on Monday, and the NNPC has yet to give an update about the refinery. In entertainment, singer Wizkid has taken a swipe at his colleague Davido again. Drama started on Tuesday after Davido announced his first single of 2024, saying the track will be a hit. However, Wizkid on his X page threw shade, saying some artists are dropping mid-songs again. In sport, Arsenal forward Bukayo Saka says this is the year the Gunners will end their 21-year wait for a Premier League title. Mikel Arteta's side have finished second behind Manchester City for the past 2 seasons and have not lifted the trophy since Arsene Wenger's invisible side of 2003-2004.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran will pay after Iran fired around 180 missiles at Israel on Tuesday. Most of the missiles were intercepted. One Palestinian was killed in the West Bank and a school in central Israel and areas near Tel Aviv were hit. Iran said the barrage was in response to Israel's aggressive act, including the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Israel says it's sending additional forces to its ground operation inside Lebanon, which began earlier this week and has told more villages to evacuate.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
For